And I would love to welcome you to 4 pillars for taking control of hormonal chaos during perimenopause without losing your mind. Now, if I could just explain why the peri is in brackets there, is because for a long time, menopause has been used as an umbrella term, but it's not actually accurate because there are 3 phases. Well, there's actually 4 phases if you want to go back to when you start your periods. But really, what you want to be concerned with is perimenopause, which is the lead up to menopause. It can last on average about 4 years, but it can go on for over a decade. And that is when most signs and symptoms occur, most of the challenges occur. Menopause itself is just a moment in time, which we will talk about a little bit in a couple of minutes. And post-menopause is where you are for the rest of your life once you are no longer fertile. If you have any questions on that at all, please do sing out. So you are in the right place if you're over 40 and walking towards menopause, or perhaps if you're further down the track, because there can be early perimenopause and a later perimenopause, depending on how many years the transition takes for you and where you're at. You're also in the right place if you feel like you're losing your mind. You feel super exhausted, you've put on weight that you can't seem to shift no matter what you do, and you want to kill everybody in your house right now. I hear that. You're also in the right place if you're wondering if you should shut up and put up and shut up because you've been to the doctor who says everything's dandy, but you feel like it's not and you're over it. On that note, you know your own body best, but also there are not a lot of doctors who are trained in menopause. That is changing, but prior to the loud voices that are occurring from women like us who are demanding answers, really, they got no training at all. And I only heard from a woman just last week who went to her doctor and he actually laughed at her. Now, this is a major concern. I hear all the time about women being turned away from the doctors because they're too young or not taken seriously, certainly not respected, or just given a prescription for antidepressants. But there's a lot more to the hormonal chaos that can go on during this time. So this is not for you if you're over 40. You'll feel fabulous and vibrant and sexy, and if you do, more power to you. That is fantastic. It's also not for you if you're not feeling like menozilla. That's a term that I coined. That's a bit of a take on bridezilla, because you know how brides can become monsters. Well, so can women in perimenopause. Well, I certainly did. Under the weight of hot flushes, mood swings, anxiety, depression, low self-esteem, recurrent UTIs, urinary tract infections, all the things. But if you are struggling with those, the strategies I'm sharing with you today will fast track you out of that place, I'm very happy to say. I want to deliver as much value as I possibly can in this free 45-minute masterclass. And please, at the end, don't hesitate to ask me questions. I've put the link in the chat box there as well to get in touch with me after the masterclass. So nothing that we cover today is theory. Everything I'm going to teach you has already been tried and tested, both by me and by science. I've been my own guinea pig. And it's exactly what I've done to tame the menozilla monster, as I call her, during perimenopause. I can't tell you how much I appreciate you sharing your time with me today, because I know how busy we are, and 45 minutes is a chunk of time. So as a thank you, I'm going to give you a gift. When you stay on this webinar until the end, you will receive my 34 signs and symptoms of perimenopause checklist, valued at $17, absolutely free. So what I'm going to share with you today is how to overcome the hormonal tailspin that can ensue during perimenopause, shift unwanted kilograms, because I know that's a concern for many of you, and release just those distressing signs and symptoms and feel in control again. And this is the extreme side of things, the way to avoid taking drastic steps like breaking up your relationships, estranging yourself from support systems, and making perimenopause far worse than it needs to be, because unfortunately some of us do that. There's actually a term now from menopausal divorce, and there's actually a Facebook group in the United States that's full of men who have loved their wives of 30, 40 years, 20, 30, 40 years, who have chosen to leave the nest. And actually that's something I did. But I'll tell you a little bit more about that in a couple of seconds. But does this sound like you? You're wondering how you got here, like to perimenopause, now that you've connected the dots and maybe realize that you are there, because you feel like you've just had a baby. For me, I had no idea. I was still undergoing fertility treatment. Do you constantly question whether you'll ever feel good in your skin again, because you kind of like feel meh, itchy, dry, and moody? You're sick and tired of feeling like crap, and you may even be avoiding your friends because you feel so bad, and you just want to isolate yourself. And you look at other women and they seem to have it all figured out. They don't seem to be affected at all. So I have to ask you, if not now, then when are you going to take control? Because you've probably been trying super hard to figure this all out on your own, maybe to nix the weight and the symptoms with little success. You might feel burned out and exhausted from doing all the things that supposedly you should be doing to help with this, yet the rewards keep escaping you. But I need you to know that it's not your fault. Please don't beat up on yourself, because a lot of women do, but 70% of women struggle. Actually, I'm sure I just saw some new research the other day that said 85% of women do, because as we get further into the 21st century, and we do live in a highly processed and highly chemical laden society, which can affect the hormone disruption. So, but the stats are that 20% of women will glide through. They're the lucky ones. I wish I'd been one of those. 60% of women will experience moderate symptoms, and for 20%, it's quite severe. And if that's you, you have my empathy, because I have been there. So you are in the right place. The real problem can be that you think you must tough this perimenopause thing out, and you don't. Please don't do that. Don't do that. Plus, you probably don't know that a proven mind-body approach can teach you to work with your body rather than rallying against it. And that's the key, understanding what's going on and learning how to work with your body, because it responds very well to that. So if you ditch the symptoms and lost the weight, you'd feel calm and energetic and empowered. You'd fit your jeans and your favorite dress again and not avoid the mirror, and you'd be able to free yourself from the rantings of your inner mean girl, that inner critic. We're going to talk about that in a couple of slides, because it's actually very pertinent to perimenopause/menopause, and a lot of people don't know that. So, who am I? Let me introduce myself. I'm Jenna. I'm an accredited holistic health and menopause coach. I actually put on 20 kilograms and felt like I'd lost my mind when I stumbled into peri, and I say stumbled because I literally did. I had no idea what was going on. So I've made it my life's work now to help other women find menopause freedom. I'm the coach midlife women turn to when they're confused by menopause symptoms and weight gain. In my former life, I was actually a magazine health and beauty editor so I've got 30 years of experience working with women, educating them actually from a written point of view back then, and styling and yeah, so much. It was such fun. So I like to say that I've moved from makeovers to lifeovers, though I really feel like lifeovers are still a makeover. A makeover doesn't go quite so deep. So for me, when I began putting on weight, experiencing anxiety, depression, dizzy spells, and crying jags, I didn't realize perimenopause had hit me. I didn't even know what it was. I remember talking to a really good friend of mine who was a naturopath on the phone one day, and I was lying down and I sat up and I got dizzy, and she didn't connect the dots either, because who knew? And I didn't even, realize what was going what was going on. Something was obviously up, because I left my partner, my lovely partner, and my family. And when I sought help, there were no definitive solutions, which made me feel even worse. My GP, who's the loveliest woman, and a woman, but younger, never mentioned perimenopause or menopause to me. I was prescribed antidepressants because I couldn't stop crying. And I had counseling, but it wasn't menopause related counseling. It was just life counseling. So no one in the medical profession understood that all this was being driven by this hormonal chaos going on inside me. So after making a ton of mistakes, because, if it was going to be, it was up to me, I found another way. And what I discovered was that there were 4 key strategies I could use to feel sane again. Beat the inflammation that was almost crippling me, because estrogen is actually on the decline when we go into menopause, if you didn't realize that. And it's actually an anti-inflammatory. So fibromyalgia can raise its head. And certainly I was almost immobilized by this inflammatory condition. But again, there were no answers. I also got in better shape than I'd been in for decades, which was great. And I was able to take all control of all the things that were keeping me stuck in depression, hiding away, and barely able to function, because certainly I had quite a few dark nights of the soul during that period of time, which is what I want to try and prevent happening to other women. So how did I get here to this smiling place? I completely changed my life. I used my 4 pillars. They were 4 pillars that I've developed, and I'm going to share with you as foundations, which are awareness, the estrogen effect, mindset, and support. Everything works interconnectedly. I also spent time with my own coach, focusing on self-awareness and self-compassion. And that's when I truly learned the power of coaching. Coaching is a fairly modern career to the extent is what it is now. Like, athletes have always had coaches, and we've seen the effects of those, haven't we? Well, the same is true of life coaches, business coaches, health coaches today. I love health coaching. There is such a need for it. It's about guiding people, being their cheerleader and their accountability, and having a broad knowledge of a lot of things. So yeah, that's what a health coach does, in case you weren't wondering. And of course, a menopause coach has a specialty in menopause, and I've spent 6, 7, or 8 years immersed in that field, and I've also done some functional training medicine and functional medicine training in menopause as well, because I really needed to know the ins and outs. And I also learned to set boundaries around stress. This is crucial, because your cortisol levels, that's our stress hormone, can go sky high during this time. So it's really important to keep them as calm as possible, which is, I know that sounds like a tall order. Gosh, we live in the 21st century and we're living in the middle of a pandemic. But as much as possible, but I can teach you ways to do that as well. But as I said at first, because I'd already made a ton of mistakes, this was over a couple of years, you know, I wasn't sure if I was doing the right things, but I was desperate. I really, really had to take control here. So I spent thousands of dollars. I signed up to train as a health coach. I immersed myself in my studies. I became happier in my weight, which was like magical offshoot. And I coined the term menozilla because I think it's a really apt description. And I learned how to send her packing, which is the important thing here. The results were I dropped that 20 kilograms. I fit my beloved jeans again. I learned to smile and laugh again. And I pivoted careers. As I said to you, I changed careers without looking back. And there's so much satisfaction in that. I didn't just share my story with you to go me, talk about me. I shared it with you so that you know that I get it. I've been where you are and I understand. Also, I don't know if you picked up, but I get very, very angry that women are so woefully uneducated about what to expect at any stage of menopause, be that peri or even post, because post comes with its own set of needs. Our health, we need to look after our health so much more for that third part of our lives. But certainly the whole peri equation, when you can feel like you're going nuts and you can get hit by this onslaught of symptoms, we haven't been told. We got the talk at puberty. When you fall pregnant, you get a big file of information and it's all wonderful and everyone goes, oh, isn't this lovely? But that doesn't happen at menopause. There's still, there's lots more loud voices about it now, but it's still a little bit to do. So as a result of my own tumultuous journey, I've developed a system based on those 4 pillars that shows you how to reclaim your mojo, lose the weight, and release symptoms. I call it your passport back to your sexy, strong, sensational self. Don't you love that? So I'm going to share with you the tried and tested pillars I've developed to help you wrangle hormonal chaos, but most importantly, win, while fast tracking you back to being to feeling bulletproof again. So those 4 pillars, ATMC, that's my acronym, ATMC. Awareness, arming yourself with knowledge and understanding. The estrogen effect, the little known hormonal impact that needs to be understood. Excuse me, I have to go. Excuse me. Mastering your mindset, this is huge. Building a level of calm and not feeling out of control and confused. Like before, I just mentioned slightly about the need to try and keep as calm as possible. And connection, the bit that brings it all together. It's like the ribbon that does up the parcel. Surrounding yourself with like-minded women. And from my own coaching experience, I've learned that having a trusted guide and an experienced mentor by your side can make all the difference to your journey. So I found that those are the 4 pillars that will help you avoid a potential menopausal meltdown and lose weight if weight's a concern for you. I really don't want what happened to me to happen to you, because I feel your ability to function well in the world should be respected, and it absolutely should. You're a goddess. I did not feel respected through my own journey. And I know that there are a lot of other women that haven't felt that respect either. And it's not good enough. We can do better for women. So these are the 4 pillars that I know that will give you the foundations to move through perimenopause. Wow. So let me tell you a little bit more about them. Pillar one, awareness. First of all, I guess understand that menopause itself is only a moment in time. It occurs. There is no test. In fact, menopause societies are trying to educate doctors that hormonal tests for perimenopause are unreliable because hormones fluctuate so much. They can be useful for other things, and they can tell you if you're in postmenopause. But in terms of the menopause transition that occurs on the last day of your last period, and you are officially in menopause, you have officially gone through menopause, by which time you're in postmenopause 12 months after that date. But you will only know that 12 months after that date. So it's a bit, isn't that amazing for the 21st century that we can't know earlier? There are, all the tech companies, because menopause is having a moment, they are all working on bringing out a reliable perimenopause test. So the next generation probably won't be in this state of not knowing. There's an interesting study in the US by a menopause company that found that 45% of women don't know what perimenopause is, and 73% of women are choosing to tough it out, which correlates with what I was saying to you before. I had no idea what perimenopause was. I was on a live chat the other day, and a woman, she was 41, and she was asking about what could be happening to her, and I was talking about perimenopause, and she said, "Excuse my ignorance, but what is perimenopause?" Like, I thought it had changed because the lid's been cracked open on the menopause conversation, but clearly not. People still don't know what perimenopause is, and clearly this research found that out as well. And certainly I was that woman, as I told you, until I learned that it didn't have to be that way. You do not have to tough it out. And I've learned the lessons so that you don't have to. And I'm here to help. I want to help. Pillar two is the estrogen effect. So the estrogen of shifts of perimenopause, peri/menopause, changed the game, and things that used to work for you don't work in the same way. It's not only about estrogen, it's a complicated, multi-layered biological process that's going on, but certainly estrogen is a main player. And estrogen, we have estrogen receptors all over our bodies. So it's not just in our ovaries, it's in our brains, it's all throughout, and it's our juice. It can be part of our happy hormone, although progesterone's our nature's Valium. Yeah, it's a complicated soup. And if weight gain is a problem to you, I have to tell you that hormone balance is an absolute requirement of weight loss. So understanding all this is key to how your journey is going to be. And say you're in perimenopause, maybe you're only just there, you're in early perimenopause, so you need to go to perimenopause college, so to speak. If you can get a handle on this now, then you might be saving yourself a decade of struggling. That's kind of a big deal, isn't it? And when it comes to estrogen, food, movement, and environment will make a huge difference, like really, really big. Food is, as Hippocrates said, let food be thy medicine and medicine be thy food. Never truer words spoken. Environment is huge. There is something called xenoestrogens, and endocrine disruptors from all the chemicals laden society that we live in, but xenos can actually mimic estrogen and lead to a condition called estrogen dominance, which is too much estrogen, which quite often happens in peri anyway. But you want to clean that out. So you need to have a really good, healthy, strong liver for one, because that's our major natural detoxifying hormone. But it's also xenoestrogens are rife in our food. They're rife in our personal care products, like our skincare and what we use in the shower and the bath. And they're also rife in the cleaning products we use around the house and gardening products. So that's a whole education too, but getting rid of them and swapping, we're just lucky we have a big choice of natural products to use these days. But also going back to basics, for example, white vinegar is an amazing, white vinegar and baking soda, which I think is quite well known, but they are amazing cleaning products. But yeah, we go into all that in the program as well. For me, I had to learn how my unique body works, and so will you, because we're all the same, but we're also very different. So what works for Jane won't work for Mary, and yet it will work for Sally, type thing. Or I'm an apple, you're a pear, and Amy's a peach. We are all same, but we're all bio individuals. So we need to work out how to we do work that out too, and it's wonderful. Pillar 3 is mastering your mindset. And when I was saying that there was estrogen all through our body, there's actually quite a lot of receptors in our brain. So that's why brain things can get very much affected during this transition. Things stress, not stress, anxiety, but we get brain fog and forgetfulness and not being able to think clearly. I know a lot of women worry that they've got dementia when it's to do with their hormones. But the other thing, and this isn't very often talked about yet, is your inner mean girl that I mentioned earlier, or your inner critic. You know how you have this voice in your head, my cousin calls them the voices in your head, telling you you're not good enough, or no, you can't do that. Also during perimenopause, you can lose your self-confidence. Your mind can just start racing all the time. You can overthink and second guess yourself all the time. So mindset is a big thing. It's really important to keep it calm and stop her chattering so much. So to that end, I've got another page about this, because mindset and positive psychology can train your brain, because I feel for too many women, mental health issues become a problem during menopause. I know they did for me. So I also teach self-care and self-compassion, meditation, pausing, which is basically pausing. How often do you do that? EFT, which is also known as tapping. That's emotional freedom technique, and it uses tapping on acupressure points on your hands, your head, your face, and your collarbone is amazing. Breath work, I've got some short, sharp breath work that you can do anywhere, and no one's going to know. But if you're in a panic attack, or if you're getting stressed, these are great things to have in your menopause toolkit, because they will get your parasympathetic nervous system and bring that to the fore, so that you will calm down. Brilliant. If you're having a hot flush, brilliant, because part of it, sometimes women can have hot flushes, and because of that, it can cause you to get very stressed. Like you might be at work in the middle of a meeting, and all of a sudden you start, it's not a very comfortable place to be. And the other thing is positive psychology, which is a wonderful thinking mindset tool. I wrote a book over a decade ago now, and I remember having a chapter in there. I wrote it with my naturopath friend, the beautiful Lani Lopez, that was about breast cancer and living well. And we included a chapter in there on positive psychology, the father of which is a guy in the United States called Martin Seligman. And it was hardly even heard of then. I love that we live in these enlightened times because I notice it's become huge and it's a wonderful, wonderful tool, not just for perimenopause and beyond, but for the rest of your life and to pass on to your loved ones. So I teach that in the program as well. These are all the things, all the parts make up the whole, and it is really a life over because yes, it's to get through perimenopause, menopause, but these are tools that impact your life in such a positive way that you'll never look back. So the ribbon that brings it all together, like I said before, that pretties up the parcel, surrounding yourself with like-minded women, as well as having a trusted guide and experienced mentor by your side. I can tell you that there is a much, much better way than feeling like you're drowning in no woman's land, which is my take on no man's land. And actually, one of my clients, her name is Anna, she shared with me that she feels it was learning to understand her body and having a sounding board that helped most of all. And I can't tell you how fabulous that made me feel. It is such a good feeling when you've helped someone. So today, in the time that we've had, I've given you a brief overview of ATMC, or the fundamental factors to taking back your power if menopause has taken over. And they are awareness, the estrogen effect, mastering mindset and connection. And of course, within there, I've got all the usual suspects like nutrition and exercise, hydration. Going back to your brain is 90% water. So if you're feeling very tired, this is a little tip, just up your hydration. That will help you in spades. So what would it mean for you how would your life be different if you could sleep through the night again, or like the woman you saw in the mirror again, or drop 10 kg, or whatever it may be, whatever is your big challenge? How would it feel, to get a handle on that? What is it costing you not to get a handle on that, or on menopause? Because menopause doesn't need to be something that flattens you. It can be something that strengthens you. I can tell you that for sure. This I know for sure. Thanks, Oprah. But you do need a framework. I love this quote by Brené Brown. It says, midlife is when the universe places her hand upon your shoulder, pulls you close, and whispers in your ear, I'm not screwing around. I implore you not to be me. I didn't know enough to understand that Perry was turning me into someone I didn't know or like. And neither did my friends or family until it was too late. I can tell you that Peri/menopause is a virtual crap show for a lot of women, and it's not being talked about. I don't know if you've got it from me, but I really want to open the door on that and show that you can ease through this transition, that it is manageable and that the changes can be preventable. You can take steps to a radiant second act, which I think is quite beautiful. And, as I mentioned, part of that is having connection to people that have been through it. So I've set aside some time in the next 2 weeks to speak with you for 30 minutes or so about how you can find your midlife mojo. It's absolutely free. There's no obligation. I'll help you look at where you're at and chart a course so you can take a holistic mind-body approach to move more positively through the challenges of peri. I love this from Katerina. I just wanted to share it with you. I'm sure she loves me for making her a superstar in my masterclass, but And she said every woman needing support with hormone imbalances would truly benefit from doing this. It isn't just about doing the program, it's also about learning about hormones and how your body is impacted in healthy and unhealthy ways. It changes the way you think. It's about a lifestyle change, and the support is personal and individual. Each person is made to feel empowered. And I love that because I'm really about knowledge is power and the empowerment of women. So this is for you if, and you might not tick all these boxes, but you might take 2 or 3. You're an action taker. You're over this whole meno thing. You want to feel sane again. You want to lose weight. You want to get rid of perimenopause symptoms. You want to feel joyful and confident. You want to feel powerful. You want your partner to look at you with that look again. Or if you're single, you want to feel comfortable dating again, because that can be a minefield on its own in midlife, let alone with hormonal chaos. So why would you listen to me? I know, right? Why would you? Like I told you, I've been there, and I think I've been fairly honest that it wasn't all rainbows and butterflies. That took work and commitment, but I would not go back in a million years. I've been on both sides of the fence, and I know which one I'd rather be on. So since I've transformed my own life, I've also helped other women navigate, beautiful women, navigate peri/menopause too. It's my why, this is my passion, this is my reason for doing this work. If I can help women transform to their happy place, then I'm in my happy place too. So what am I offering here? Hopefully I'm offering you some nuggets you can take away and implement on your own. If that's not for you, I've also got the 12-week midlife mojo life over, where you'll be fully supported in your transformation. It's what I wish I'd had. Yeah, it can make all the difference. Just having like a friend, an accountability partner, certainly a cheerleader, to help you through what can be a challenging time. But if you did do the 12-week midlife mojo within a few weeks, it wouldn't be such a challenging time. And that would be knowledge and education that you would be taking away with you for life. There's a whole lot in there. Each week there's a learning module, like learning about your liver, learning about your blood sugar, learning about nutrition, learning mindfulness, learning the EFT, learning the breathing exercises, a whole bunch of modules, lots of handouts and downloads and recipes. I'll give you a bunch of recipes every week or month. And yeah, so there's tons in there. And yeah, a buddy, a champion. So if this is you, and it doesn't matter which one you are, I'd love to invite you to book a free call with me, because I'd love to get to know you. I'm honored that you've been in my little corner of the internet. So if you want to take your life back, you can't miss this. But because it's personal time with me, so it's quite a bit of time, the opportunity is limited to the next 10 people on today's call. But as I said before, there's absolutely no obligation, and it's totally free. I'm not going to try and sell you into Midlife Mojo. I'm just going to have a chat and see how I can help you. I've popped a link in the chat, and I'll also include one in the follow-up email that will take you to my calendar to book in a call. If you have any tech issues, you could email the team at hello@youology.co.nz. If you're here, you probably do know my website anyway, but I am youology.co.nz. Youology is actually the study of you. So it's you, Y-O-U-ology. Steps to success. Yay, clap hands. If you truly want to regain your midlife mojo, you have the power. But a framework and a strong support system is key. Like, it would be so helpful to just fast track you. And I did develop the Midlife Mojo 12-week transformation project. And because I'm so passionate about it, if that's something you are interested in, I would love to give some of you a gift for a limited time. It's usually $1,497 for the 12 weeks, but I'm giving it to the first 10 people for $997 for the entire 12 weeks. I think that works out to about $11 a week. I have to do the math on that again. Also, as a bonus, if you are one of those 10 people, I'd actually give you another free month if you're enjoying it and getting a lot out of it. Because, yeah, as I said, that's my why, to help women transform. It's always been my why. And I'd just love to see you feeling confident, energetic, and vibrant in your skin again. If you have a pen and paper, you could write down this address. Go to www.youology.co.nz/book-a-chat. But yeah, absolutely no obligation, but there'll be links everywhere for you to be able to get in touch if that's something that you would love to do. I would love to take the time to thank you so much for spending time with me. If you have any questions, pop them in the chat or do email me direct. I don't think there's any questions there at the moment. I've just checked. So I won't take up any more of your time. But as I say, there's links everywhere to get in touch with me for a chat, or you can just email me directly on that address there, which is jenna@youology.co.nz. Thank you so much. I really am looking forward to meeting you. If you don't choose to book the chat, that's fine too. I hope that you've got a lot out of this masterclass. And I thank you for joining me. Bye-bye.